And don't forget to order your copy of Football Game Plan's latest book, Stiff Arming Football Myths, an excellent book that you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/books, available in both PDF as well as paperback form.
Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you our NFL Week 2 preview between the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Jets.
For the Jets in this ball game, matching up in the slot defensively will be key. We know they're weakened in the secondary because of their depth. Now, maybe they get back D. Milner, but how will they match up in the slot, or who will match up in the slot, will be big versus Green Bay. And on offense, they can't overthink the creativity. We saw this last week versus the Oakland Raiders. Marty Mornhinweg got over creative in the red zone, and they caused him to not put points on the board. That can't happen this week versus Green Bay because you have to get 7s instead of 3s. The secondary also has to find the football. It's always key versus Aaron Rodgers, who has pinpoint accuracy and loves to throw that back shoulder fade. The secondary has to be able to get their head around to make a play on the ball. And for the Packers in this ball game, they have to force the Jets to play fast. You want to dictate the pace, dictate the tempo, and the way they can do that is by going up tempo, going no huddle, keeping the Jets on the field in the same personnel could ultimately help you have success offensively. And what could also help you have success is going with the quick game. That's a quick game in a running game, like your traps, your draws, those type of plays, your crack tosses, and also your quick passing game. Because remember, they're going to be a little bit weakened up front along that offensive line without Brian Bulaga, and they struggled versus Seattle, and the Jets love to bring pressure consistently. And on defense, those inside linebackers have to bring their A game. They struggled mightily last week versus Seattle, and we know the Jets will run a lot of power, a lot of lead. They're going to run a lot of ISO. Those guys have to bring their A game and be ready to meet the rubber at the road. Otherwise, again, this defense could struggle to get off the field.
What we saw from the Jets last week was impressive on offense. They utilized the diamond formation. I'm going to show you how they can do certain things out of that formation this week versus Green Bay to put one of their talented players in the bind on the edge. And we're talking about Julius Peppers. And what we're going to do here, when Green Bay goes to a situational 4-3 front, they like to bring Julius Peppers down in a defensive end look. And we're going to run the option off of him, putting him at bay, making him make a decision. And we're either going to run the counter or run the read option going left. So we have 2 plays in one. And the reason why we spread out the wide receivers to widen those guys out, essentially taking them out the play. As a matter of fact, their job is to go up and get the safety because the cornerbacks are going to be so far away, they won't be a factor in the running game. Now, like I said, we're going to run the counter this way to the back here. And Geno Smith is actually going to read this back and read what Julius Peppers is going to do. So what we're going to do blocking up front, we're going to pull the backside tackle and guard. So we're going to have the center block down on the defensive tackle. We're going to have the guard here. His job is to work up and get the Mike backer. Boom. We're going to have this defensive tackle blocked by the play side tackle because we're going this way initially. And what we're doing, we're going to pull the guard. His job is to kick out that defensive end. And the tackle's job is to go around and lead up into the hole, get the backer blocked. Now, we're going to have the fullback. His job is to work up weak side and get this backer blocked. So everyone is blocked. And now what we're going to do with Julius Peppers, we're going to read. We're going to have the running back counter going this way. Geno Smith reads it. If this guy comes up and plays it aggressively as far as he's going to chase it, he's going to pull. And now you have the option coming outside. If he doesn't go aggressive and follow the running back, you give it to the running back. Now, if he decides to take the quarterback, Geno Smith pitches it to the back out here. Now the back hopefully can make this guy miss. So you can see where you have 3 plays wrapped up in one. That's what we call packaging plays. You have the counter running this way. You have the option coming this way. And you also have the pitch as well. So again, you're reading Julius Peppers, putting him in the bind, taking his greatest strength, which is rushing the passer, causing problems in the backfield, and making it his biggest weakness. And that's one thing you can do out of the diamond formation. I think if they utilize this week versus Green Bay, they can have a lot of success.
Now, here are some in-game adjustments you want to watch out for in this ball game when Green Bay is on the field. Keep an eye on those defensive fronts that they're utilizing versus this Jets offense. Sometimes they may go 3-4. Sometimes they may even drop down to a 4-3. Again, it depends on how much they trust their corners on the edges versus these Jets wide receivers to put an extra guy's hand in the dirt. And you also want to keep an eye on McCarthy's play calling, more in particular when he calls running plays, or how often he calls running plays, or what he does in the red zone. He has routinely struggled to call effective plays in the red zone, and that can't happen this week versus the Jets. And their first down defense will be key. Do they bring a lot of pressure? Do they drop back in coverage? That'll be key in this ball game into what they do overall versus this Jets offense. The biggest X factor for the Jets in this ball game will be their defensive line and how well they can get pressure on Aaron Rodgers and keep him bottled up in the pocket. The good part about it, they have the personnel with Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson and company. They do a great job in applying pressure, and they're going to have to do that in order to come away victorious versus Green Bay. And the X factor for Green Bay will be their receiving core. They have to have a better day as far as a physicality standpoint. They have to win those one-on-one matchups. Now, while they're not going against the Legion of Boom, the Jets are a physical group in the secondary, and they have an enforcer back there at free safety in Calvin Pryor. I like Green Bay in this ball game. I think offensively they'll get it into gear versus New York. What they'll do is spread the field and force those Jets third and fourth corners to get on the field, and that's where they'll have success in the passing game, because again, the Jets are weakened in the secondary, so you want to expand that, put more DBs on the field where you have the advantage. And on the defensive side, I think they'll do enough to get the Jets offense off the field, more so than what they did last week versus Seattle. So I like Green Bay to win this one at home.
What's up, fantasy football fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. For all of your starts, sits, fantasy football notes, news, and tidbits, tune into our podcast, Football Game Plan Starting Lineup, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on our Football Game Plan Radio Network, which is located at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.
And don't forget to check out Football Game Plan's NFL Wraparound live every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan, where we give you all of our late-minute and last-minute notes, news, and tidbits and thoughts on each and every game on the NFL schedule. And I also want to give a huge shout-out to Packer fan forums and Jet fan forums for always showing Football Game Plan support.